Welcome to this edition of Campus Talk, a program looking at life as a Lion at Missouri Southern. I'm Megan Aldridge, and I'll be your host for this edition. The following interviews were conducted by students at the Department of Communication. Today we visit with students from around campus. Missouri Southern students have opportunities to work at a variety of jobs on campus. Our next segment features a visit with a student sharing her on-campus work experience.
Hello, I would like to welcome you to today's program. My name is Skylar Young, and today I'm here with Nigel Williams, an on-campus student worker. Nigel, how are you doing today?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing good. Today I just want to ask you questions about your job on campus and how you balance being an on-campus worker and a full-time student. Okay? So first, can you tell me a little bit about your job as an on-campus worker?
Yes, well, I work at the Child Development Center on campus in the education building, and this year I'm mostly like a desk person, so I'm kind of in every classroom. I work with students from 6 weeks to 5 years, and they're basically full-time students. We're open from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m., and I just do a little bit of everything, kitchen work, all of the above.
Yeah, is that a dirty job or?
Yeah, it's nasty, especially when we have spaghetti for lunch.
Okay. What benefits can come from being an on-campus worker? Like, what are the pros and cons?
Well, some of the pros are, I have a vehicle, but being able to just walk from class over to the education building, not being able to worry about gas or inclement weather. And when school is closed, we're out of class, though my job is closed, so I can just kind of chill. Some of the cons are we can only have 20 hours a week, and I would like to at least have about 30, 35, be a full-time worker and a full-time student. So that's about the only thing other than changing nasty diapers all day.
Okay. So in all honesty, would you recommend incoming freshmen to get a job on campus?
Definitely. Most freshmen don't have cars, like I said once before, so just being able to walk from, let's just say, the Lions Den over to the Taylor Education Building, it's pretty convenient, and it's less money you have to spend on gas and stuff like that, so yes, definitely.
Okay, so does on-campus employment work around your class schedules a lot? Are they really lenient on helping you with that?
Yes, the way we do it is at the end of each semester, you have to turn in your schedule for next semester, and by the summertime, they'll have a schedule waiting for you, and they like to do like block hours, like 2 and 3 hours at a time, just to kind of regulate the kids' schedule. So like every different person will be coming in like every 30 minutes. You know, you at least have at least 2 or 3 hours with each classroom, and they work around. They can't schedule you for a job if you have class. So yeah, they definitely work around your schedule.
Do you have to have experience to?
It's recommended that you have experience, and it's also recommended that you're an education major, because as an education major, you have to have like certain hours for their classes, and working at the daycare helps you to have those hours. So you won't have to take extra training classes outside of work.
So you can find jobs on campus based on your major?
Yeah. If you go to a higher line, you just type in your major or type in what you're looking for, and it pops up.
Okay, that leads into my next question. My next question is, how would you go about, like, what are the steps?
But you just go to Higher Line, and it's a little link that says job or intern search, and you go to part-time on campus, and they give you a list of about 40 jobs. And you just I usually check it about every week just because I'm constantly looking for new things to do. And if you see a job that you like, it gives you a job description, the rate of pay, and it'll tell you to submit your resume. Your resume goes to Miss Tanya Nichols, and after she receives it, she'll give you a call within a week or so. If not, you call her, and she'll get you in and get your paper signed, and you'll be on your way.
Okay. So do you overall enjoy being an on-campus worker?
Yes. I probably drive my car all of 2 times out of the week, just on the weekends. But like I continue to say, just being able to walk from Billingsley or wherever you are on campus to your job is perfect. I love it.
So other than Higher Line, can students go on the second floor of the library to Career Services to find an on-campus job? Yeah,
Career Services also helps you with your resume. So like you said about incoming freshmen, they might not know how to do the resumes. They sit down with you. Most of the time, preferably, they make an appointment with you. They sit down and they tell you, what to put in there, what sounds good, how to order it. And they keep your a file of your resume, like if you ever need it for even an off-campus job. You can just always go back to the Career Services and retrieve it.
Now we're going to visit with a senior at Missouri Southern who is involved with Fellowship of Christian Athletes about the organization.
Hi, and welcome to today's program. I'm Jordan Comer, and I have Jeremy Jones with me with FCA. Jeremy, can you tell me a little bit about FCA?
Yeah, FCA is a campus organization that reaches out to coaches and athletes. It's a ministry that was started in the 50s, and it has been reaching out to athletics and people in that kind of area since then.
All right. What would you say that FCA's purpose would be?
Well, as an organization, the goal of FCA is just to make the name of Christ known among coaches and athletes, and to make anything that can be made easier for them or to serve them in any way. That's the mission of FCA. But as far as on Southern's campus, it looks a little bit different because we kind of have our own flavor, I guess. So at Southern, we don't just have athletes. In fact, we're extremely welcoming of non-athletes. And we have about 55 members. And so I would say that it's about 50-50 as far as athletes and non-athletes. And we just try to get together and have a good time, have a teaching, and every once in a while we'll do like a service for athletes or for coaches here at Southern, and it's a really neat thing.
That's awesome. That's great that you guys do that. What would you say your role is at FCA?
Well, specifically my role, so I've been a part of it, I guess going back a little bit, I've been a part of FCA for a couple years, and both regularly and non-regularly. So when I first came, it was because I moved to Joplin and I needed some sort of community and was looking for people just to spend time with. And so I had some friends that went there and they invited me. And I grew up playing music in my church and things like that. So kind of pretty shortly into it, I started leading worship for FCA. And so I guess, on a fairly regular basis, I get to play and just lead worship, and really a bigger part of it is just getting to meet people. And
yeah.
So I wouldn't say that there's necessarily a specific title involved,
yeah.
But it's a really great opportunity to get to be that person that connects people like I needed connected early on. So yeah.
That's awesome. And what, I guess, has FCA done for you?
Well, I would say, even just going back on what I just said, it really, especially, when you move to a new place and you don't have an existing community and you're looking for friends, you're nervous about it. It's really great to kind of have that provided for you. So I guess FCA, especially in the beginning, just provided me a sense of stability in a community that I could be with once a week and hang out with, and, people that I knew, the relationships that were going to grow and foster healthiness, and it was a really valuable thing for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I guess the main assumption of FCA is that it's only for athletes. So what's something you could say for people on campus that aren't athletes but want to be involved?
Well, one thing that I think should be very comforting is my hand-eye coordination is slim to none. So, I go pretty much every week and have a good time. Sometimes we'll play board games. That doesn't take too much athleticism, but it really is. I'm joking around, but it really is a good time. You don't have to be an athlete. Every once in a while we'll play ultimate frisbee or play a game or something, but it's something that everybody can get involved in and have fun. It's not something that takes a ton of skill,
Yeah, so kind of anyone can be
right,
involved.
Yeah, it's easy to get involved.
Not just athletes. Okay, and something else that I had to ask was, if you could describe FCA in 2 words, what would it be?
Oh, wow. You didn't warn me about that. Okay, well, if I could, I guess constant community would be the best way I could describe it.
Yeah,
off the
that's
top
a good
of my head.
description.
So, yeah.
Awesome. And when does FCA meet so everyone can join in on this?
Well, FCA meets on Tuesday evenings, and it's at 7 o'clock. And we meet in Billingsley 349, unless it's posted otherwise. Sometimes we'll meet down by the tennis courts or the soccer field to play a game. But what people can do actually is follow us on Twitter, and it's FCA Moso. And so they can just follow us and keep people updated, with what we're doing throughout the week. So if we're going to meet somewhere else or do something else, we can do that. And also, another important thing, we pretty much every week go out to Gasana's afterwards and have half-price pizza, which is really great.
You can't beat that.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
All right, well, there you guys have it. Thank you, Jeremy, for joining us.
Absolutely.
And you guys have a good day.
Coming up next, we have a junior psychology major from the psychology department at Southern.
Good morning, Lions. Today I'm joined with fellow student Connor James, who's a psychology major here on campus. And today we're going to learn a little bit about the psychology department and what all it involves. So let's start by talking about where are you from?
I am from St. Louis, Chesterfield, and then I went to Mizzou, and then I switched to here.
Okay, so Missouri Southern is probably the reason why you moved here then, I would assume. Let's see here. What's the hardest thing you've had to deal with since moving to Joplin from such a large city like St. Louis?
Honestly, the weather. The
Really?
tornadoes are terrifying. Last year we spent like an hour in the shelter, and it was so scary.
Yeah, it's something to adjust to, definitely. So you are a psychology major, I understand, here at Missouri Southern.
I am, and it's the best department ever. No offense.
So since being a psychology major, do you kind of view certain aspects of your life differently because of the way your education has formed your opinions?
I think so, because I'm like really into abnormal psych, and so like all my friends, I evaluate them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I hear that there's some trips going on in the psychology department. You want to tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, well, right now we're fighting the biology department because this summer there's 2 trips to Belize, but only one gets to go. So it's more about who wins. And I think we're going to go because we're so much better.
What does the trip entail? What exactly are you going all the way to Belize for?
The head of the department said that we were going to go have fun and then write a paper about it. She didn't say very much about psychology.
So is it more of like a social experiment probably?
Yes.
Just experiencing a new culture?
Yeah, and how like they think and how much it's different than our culture.
Very cool. So on your trip, is this during the school year, during the summer? When exactly would this take place?
It's at the end of May, the 2 weeks between the end of the year and then before summer school.
Okay, very cool. And you said that you're competing with the biology department to go on this trip. How is that exactly working between the 2 departments for this trip?
We're mostly like getting people to sign up, and then whoever has more sign-ups gets to go.
Okay.
We're only at 4 though.
Very cool. So if someone were to be interested in trying to sign up for this trip, how would they go about getting that kind of information?
Oh, there's a Facebook page, MOSO Psych Department, and then Karen Costin is the head of it.
Okay, so she's in charge of the trip.
Yes.
Okay.
And she went a few years ago and had lots of fun.
Very cool. On a different note, if you could change one thing about Missouri Southern, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably since I came here for nursing, their tattoo policy is very intense. You're not allowed to have any tattoos visible, but it all worked out. Everything works out.
So you were in the nursing program, I understand.
Yes, I was.
So you switched to psychology.
Yes, and it was the best decision I've ever made.
So it's been a positive change for you. As
definitely.
A student. Awesome. With your psychology degree, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? What do you want to do with that degree?
Well, I'm probably going to go to grad school for clinical psychology, and I would love to work with children. So
That's
probably
awesome.
like in a school, maybe.
Where are you thinking of going to grad school at?
I wrote my resume for Pitt State, but
So you'd like to stay in the area?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, that's nice. Well, I thank you for meeting with me. Do you have any questions for us or any questions about anything?
No, this was fantastic.
All right, so if anyone has any questions about the Belize trip, like Connor mentioned, you can check out the MOSO Facebook page under the psychology department and get more information. Andrew Farthing, back to you.
Up next, we find out about one of the 2 sororities on campus in an interview with a member and her role within the organization.
Hello, Lions. Today I will be talking with Shelby Dietz, the external social chairman for Zeta Tau Alpha sorority here on campus. Welcome, Shelby, and thank you for being with us. Now, could you please tell me exactly what Zeta is?
Zeta Tau Alpha is a sorority here on campus.
Okay, well, can you please tell me what being part of Zeta entails?
It entails a lot of like self-discipline, responsibility, a lot of campus involvement, because we do a lot with different organizations here on campus. So.
Okay, does Zeta have a philanthropy?
Yes, our philanthropy is breast cancer awareness and education, and we're actually coming up on Pink Week in October. So we'll be doing a lot at the football games and at basketball games and everything like that.
Okay, awesome. And what does your role in Zeta include as external social chairman?
I plan all of our social events. So we're like mixers with other Greek life on campus. Sometimes we do things with like other organizations like athletics or anything like that.
Awesome. Okay, well, how has Zeta affected your being part of Zeta affected your college experience?
It's really gotten me involved here on campus. It's put me in a position where I have to get in contact with other organizations on campus. It's given me a lot of responsibility, and I found out I actually enjoyed it when I didn't think I would. So
that's awesome. So other organizations, what do you mean by that? Do you work with other organizations?
Yeah, we work a lot with CAB. Campus Activities Board, and stuff like that, because we do a lot of our activities through them.
Okay, great. And internally, what do you do in Zeta? Do you guys have weekly meetings? Do you have discussions?
Yeah, we meet weekly because we do different things once a month. We do services like community service. Sometimes we'll like do canned food drives, we do our mixers, we meet and we plan Pink Week like months in advance and stuff like that. So.
All right. What exactly is the process that one must go through in order to join Zeta?
The beginning of fall we have formal recruitment, and it's a whole week on campus, and we have like an info night, and both sororities on campus do similar things throughout recruitment just to get girls involved and help them realize what we're about and what we do here on campus.
Okay, great. So do you have any words for anyone that might want to join Zeta?
It's a really great opportunity, especially if you're not from around this area and you want to get involved, you want to meet new friends. Essentially, you find a home away from home.
Have you had a good opportunity in meeting new friends? Are you guys kind of a family? Or?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm actually from this area, so I already knew a couple of girls in Zeta, but there's a lot of girls that come from different places, and it's really interesting to see the dynamics that they bring, and it's really just a great opportunity to get to know people not only within Zeta, but throughout all the things that we do, you meet a lot of really cool people.
Great, great. And from my understanding, they have a relationship type where it's someone has a big and a little. Could you explain what that's all about?
Yeah, it's actually just basically building a family, and throughout formal recruitment, you'll meet a whole bunch of girls, and usually you'll find one that you click with that you really love, and that you basically want to help them understand the ideals and like how to uphold being a Zeta lady, and you basically teach them and you help them and you give them every opportunity that they can, and they kind of pick each other because it should be like kind of a natural thing, but
so they get to pick who they want. What if somebody wants the same person? What if two people want the same person?
It's like a really long process, and
okay.
I mean, I don't know the technicalities of it, but
okay, all right, no problem. Yeah. All right. Can you tell us where students can go to learn a little bit more about Zeta?
There's brochures in the CAB office that people can pick up, and then we have a website, zetaalpha.org. It explains a little bit about our philanthropy and the women involved and everything like that, and where you can find Zeta. Sometimes they're at the Super Bowl handing out pink ribbons and everything like that.
And one last question for you today. Mm-hmm. In your opinion, what do you think being part of Zeta during your college experience, how do you think that will help you after you graduate?
Zeta has put me in a leadership role. and it's made me reach out to other people and collaborate ideas. And as a business major, that's helpful to me. Just having the experience to be able to do those things and interact with people. And I mean, there's a lot of paperwork involved and everything like that, so it helps me just kind of work on things that I would probably work on in a business environment. So.
All right. Well, I want to thank you very much for being with us today. And thank you all for joining us. As Shelby discussed, you can look on zetataalpha.org for more information or pick up a brochure in the CAB office. Thank you very much.
An opportunity to study abroad is a special one for students at Missouri Southern. Our next segment features a visit with a student sharing her experience with the Paris Media Seminar program.
Hello everyone, welcome to this portion of our show. My name's India and today I'll be talking with Thea Davenport, who took the International Media Seminar trip in Paris last spring. Thea, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so what topics were discussed during the seminar?
Well, they had various different people with various different job titles. We had advertising, we had fashion, marketing, international PR. So each day was a different topic. And they also had people who had moved from the United States to Paris to live there and to fully soak up the culture. And so they kind of talked to us about the history of Paris and French culture as well.
Oh, that's really cool. So were you able to do a lot of sightseeing while you were there?
Yes, it turned out to be a lot more sightseeing than any of us ever thought we would. We would go out in the mornings for breakfast and go to the seminars throughout the day and then have time throughout maybe like for the rest of the afternoon to do whatever we wanted.
That's awesome. So how many students went on the trip?
I believe about 15 students went in my group during the trip.
Do you think that the topics discussed in the seminar were beneficial to you and the career you want to go into?
Yes. For me right now, I don't really know what direction I want to take my public relations major into. So I thought it was very helpful, kind of gave me open mindset to how many different things that I can do with my public relations degree. So it was really eye-opening for me.
That's really cool. So what do you think the most memorable part of the trip was?
I think the most memorable part of the trip would be being able to go to people's houses. The people who put on the seminar every year, they welcome you into their home. They have discussions with different people. I believe they change out the speakers every year, but we were able to really experience the French culture, how people lived, how their housing was set up, and I think that was really cool.
Yeah. So what was the overall cost of the trip?
With my cost personally, because I received the grant, I spent a little over $2,000 with shopping, food, sightseeing, and with the seminar and the flight costs and everything.
So what scholarships are available for students if they want to go?
I know that you can receive a grant, study abroad grant. You can only get it once. The grant that I had received was for $750, but this year it's the grant is for $1,000 this year.
That's even better.
Yes.
All right. So how long was the trip?
We were there for 9 days.
9 days?
Yes.
How long during each day were you in the actual seminar and actually learning things other than just sightseeing?
It was a pretty lengthy day, but it was well worth it. Some days we would go at 8 a.m., some days 9, some days even 11, and we were mostly out by 4:30. But as we were at the seminars, they let us take a break, they let us have lunch, and then get back to the speakers, and then have the rest of the day to do whatever.
Okay. So who can students contact to get involved with this trip?
They can contact Olive Sullivan or Chad Stebbins.
Okay. I had a question. Oh, what are the prerequisites for this trip?
I took the global journalism class.
Global journalism. Okay, so I just have one more question for you. What would you say to a student who was considering going on this trip but wasn't too sure about it?
I was that student, so I would say definitely go on the trip. It's well worth it. You're there for more than a week, so that's a plus.
Right.
It's very eye-opening to different things that you can do in a communications major, and it's just a really good trip, and you get to experience French culture. And I would advise people. What? Oh, sorry. He was like holding up his hands. So I would advise people to take the trip.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And if students are interested, you can contact Olive Sullivan and she'll give you all the information you need. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Campus Talk. I've been your host, Megan Aldridge. We hope you've enjoyed hearing about the thoughts and activities of some of our students on campus. We invite you to tune in again next time as we look at life on the campus of Missouri Southern.